Hello everyone and welcome to Meet the Coach. I am not your usual host, Carla Egan, the founder of the Coaching Directory, but I am Zoe Wood, your queen of first impressions, here at the Coaching Directory and the podcast Meet the Coach, which you are listening to right now. And now, as you can probably guess because you're hearing my voice, we are listening to a second bonus episode where we're going to review some of the older episodes in our 2 previous seasons of the Meet the Coach podcast. So excited to have you on board for the rest of this episode, so let's get on to the credits. And our first coach for our Find Your 23 Direction episode is Sue Glendenning, who is going to discuss with us the key differences between struggle and success. Leave it to Carla.
But in your book, you talk about that one critical difference between struggle and success. So I'd love you to elaborate on that because that is the theme of our interview today.
Well, that's the secret. And that's the thing that people often talk to me about. And you know what? That one critical difference is you. It's you. It's how you think and how you feel and whether or not you're prepared to make the changes that you need to make to get to where you want to be. So it's understanding that a lot of the challenges that you're facing are your own challenges, or they've come from your belief system. So once that's changed, everything else changes. There's only so much you can change in the outside world, but there's an awful lot that you can change within, but that impacts on your results. So your thoughts equal your actions and your actions equal your results. Most coaches will have learned that at some point. But I think for people to understand that critical difference is you. The way you think, the way you feel, what you understand about your own thinking, and how that leads to behaviour patterns and what the results that you're getting in life in general. So it's quite simple, really.
So insightful, Sue. Thank you so much. And now on to our second coach, Elizabeth Houghton, who talks all about careers. And she is going to discuss with us the change and shift from hours worked to value added within the workplace and your career. Carry on.
And that's hugely different.
There's some real significant shifts. I mean, the traditional employee model that you and I know, and many people know, the Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 model is under threat, really, and it's being challenged by this younger generation, notwithstanding the global pandemic. What can employers expect in the next 5 to 10 years, Elizabeth, from what this younger generation wants in the workplace?
Oh, that's a tough one. 5 to 10 years is a tough one. There's a requirement for flexibility. Set hours, I personally feel, is going to be a thing of the past. 9 till 5 is gone. We've got a generation, and my generation, we have doggy daycare. We send our dogs to daycare I'm sure we send our children to daycare as well, but we have a generation of people who are younger, who still have the same ties and the commitments of, okay, well, doggy daycare opens and shuts, and people want to be at home with their pets, or they want to be able to take their pets to the office. They don't want to not have that environment or where they're working. So 9 to 5 is over. I believe people want a huge amount of flexibility in how they work. People want to work when it is best for them. Now, that doesn't mean they don't work and they're lazy, but it means they've worked out when is the best time for them to work. Like, we have night owls, we have early morning people, or you have people like, I love 9 till 5, like not that rigid structure, but I'm not going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and start working, and I'm not going to be working at 10 o'clock at night. I like working in daytime hours. But with that, you pop off to the gym when they're open, and you go and get coffee with friends, and there's just this employers are going to need to have a level of trust that they have never had in their team members before, because it's going to be working from home. People aren't going to be connected on Teams or Slack or whatever chat function. people have in the workplace between set hours. People are going to drop in and drop out, and the requirement to lead is going to need to be based on output, not physical hours of activity.
Well said. I'm seeing that shift. I live along the surf coast of Victoria in Australia, and I know people want to go out in the surf when the surf's up, and happy to work back late at night to get the job done. So yeah, it is a real trend with people wanting to have that work-life integration. It's not really a balance now, it's integration, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't say balance, because I don't actually think there's such thing as a work-life balance. We just have life, right? We are a whole person. We don't have a work us and a home us. We are one person, and our lives are messy and they are complicated. But we have all of these different things to do, right? So we have our health and wellness to look after. We have work, right? Work is an important part, whatever work may look like for you. We all need money. It's what makes the world go round. So let's not overestimate that. But there's now this growing desire to ensure work fits with someone's core values, what they want out of life, their lifestyle. So instead of fitting what we used to class as home around work, it's now that need to kind of fit work around home and work around what works for us, instead of employers saying, hey, this is it. This is the blank sheet of paper. These are your lines. It's now more of a negotiation of, you know what? On a Monday, I want to get up and I'm going to go swimming in the sea. So I'm not going to start work until 9:30. But I'm cool to work past that, like past 5. I will work the hours. And it's having those conversations. And it's maybe, you know what, on a Wednesday, I want to go have coffee and breakfast with my girlfriends in the morning. I'm not going to be at my desk until 10, but I'm going to work till 7 or 8 at night to get something done. And it's starting to have those conversations and having leaders who actually know how to lead in that environment and know how to measure effectiveness, because effectiveness is no longer how many hours you're at your desk. It is around what it is you manage to achieve and the value you manage to add to the role in which you're doing. Are you adding the right amount of value? It needs to not matter at what hours of the day that value is added.
And the last coach to find your 2023 direction for this episode is Anthony Wood. Anthony is going to discuss with us the systems that make the world go round, because we all need systems and we all need to make them happen. So let's carry on.
The key word that you said there in your journey, and that's systems. You know, having some proven frameworks, and a lot of businesses that want to grow don't necessarily know how to do that. And so I want to dive a little bit deeper into this EOS system, this tool, this methodology. And you know, all great systems have key components that help with their success. Can you take us through that? Can you talk us through this tool and how you've applied it in your business and how you apply it with business owners as well?
Sure thing, sure. So at its heart, every business has 6 key components. And to the degree in which you are strong across each and all of those 6 components will ultimately determine whether you succeed or fail as a business. So first off, it's vision. It's getting clarity on your vision. And that's not just you as the entrepreneur, you as the founder, or someone in the senior decision maker in the business. Everyone has their own interpretation of a vision that may or may not have been shared. So when we get that vision crystal clear across everyone's mind, they all seeing the same thing, all of a sudden we can begin to channel all of the human energy in the business, getting us all heading in the same direction. Because there's one thing for us to actually have a shared vision, but or a clear vision, but we need to make sure it's actually shared by everyone across the entire organization. Because when you've got that, That's how you start to get really strong on the vision component of your organization. Then you're looking at people, and that really goes hand in hand with vision. It's who are we as an organization really determines what makes the right people in the business. And as Jim Collins so eloquently put it in his book, Good to Great, getting the right people in the right seat on the bus. And so it's all about identifying what makes a great person in your business, because that may be different than your neighbor down the road, the other businesses in different business parks, someone else that you know, or it might even be a business that you have run previously. There's no good or bad. It's just what's the right combination for this business as it stands right now. So figuring out our values, getting crystal clear on those, ensuring that we're surrounding ourselves with people that live and breathe those values. They're not just wallpaper words. They're actually things that are tangible, demonstrable, that we are living on a day-to-day basis. And then it's about having clarity of accountability across the organization. What is the right structure for growth for the business for the next 6 to 12 months? Getting that crystal clear and making sure that we're then putting the people that we've got in our business into the right seat. Because when we've got that combination of right people and right seat, that's when we're making sure that we've got a great solid organization full of people that are doing the things that we need them to do. Then it's about data. How are we distilling the business down to a handful of key numbers that we need to be looking at on a weekly basis? Modern business today has the luxury, and I say that luxury in air quotes, because we are drowning in data. Just because we've got a truckload of information doesn't mean there's actually anything useful that we're getting out of it. But how do we distill the business down to the handful of things that we need to know, the leading indicators, so we can focus our activity, our actions today, this week, that are going to generate the results that we're looking for in the future. You know, there's the expression that's commonly used about actions precede results. This is where those things really get tangible, and we can track how we're doing with those actions. So once we've got clarity on a vision, we're surrounding ourselves with great people, and we've got good quality data, that's when we can start to tackle our issues.
Thank you so much for enjoying this bonus episode of the Meet the Coach podcast. Make sure that you're subscribed to listen for season 3 and the next seasons beyond, to listen out for the amazing coaches that we have on the coaching directory. So next is going to be a trailer of season 3, and then we're going to carry on with our in-depth interviews and analysis from the coaches. Thank you for listening.